Top of the morning from the sports desk. Let's take a final look at our sporting headlines for this morning, diving into the news as far as Formula One is concerned. Of course, it's been an enthralling contest as far as Formula One goes, with things not turning out as we had expected it. Of course, Red Bull, in fact, 2 years ago, or in fact, rather in the past 5 years, have been heavily, or rather very much have been really dominating Formula One as far as Drivers' Championship is concerned, but more specifically Constructors' Championship. And that's where the most important part comes into this conversation, is what has gone wrong with Red Bull's construction team. Of course, the RB 18 and 19 vehicles were at some point 5 years ago, perhaps the fastest vehicle on a Formula One track, but now things have turned around. McLaren have taken over as far as our leadership is concerned. Of course, coming out with the Drivers' Championship and also with the Constructors' Championship. Of course, with their drivers, Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, have perhaps turned things around as far as the leaderboard is concerned. Would synonymously consider the top of the championship to be highly ranked or highly poised by none other than Max Verstappen himself. But that position has changed over to McLaren, as of course Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri have taken over from the top as far as the championship is concerned, and they might be going all the way for a 1-2 finish throughout the course of the season to also claim that much coveted constructors title as far as Formula One is concerned. Just to give an insight, of course, it now takes a week break, and next weekend we're down in Italy at the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Of course, as Formula One takes its trip down to the home of Ferrari at in Italy. Hopefully things turn around. Of course, when I speak about Ferrari have also had a new addition to their team with Sir Lewis Hamilton coming out and donning the red aviator of Ferrari. It hasn't turned out to be the flag point, or rather the marquee signing that Ferrari would have hoped for. Of course, with the likes of Charles Leclerc also not performing as well as we would have thought he would be this year. A lot of work has gone into that Ferrari vehicle. So hopefully heading into the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix next weekend in Italy, the team of Ferrari might just be able to come up with a home victory in that contention. Nonetheless, let's shift over to other news making headlines around the world as our football fever grips South Africa for the second successive weekend. Soweto football giants Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates will face off at the Moses Mabida Stadium on Saturday for the much coveted Nedbank Cup trophy. The stakes could not be any higher as Kaizer Chiefs, of course, seek for the first piece of silverware in nearly a decade. While of course our Orlando Pirates aim to continue the dominance in the competition. Chiefs' painful decade-long drought has left the fans anxiously longing for a return to the club's former glory days. The last time Damakosi celebrated a major title was during the 2014-2015 season, and of course there has been growing pressure for the team to regain its status as one of the giants of South African football. On the other side, the Buccaneers will look to extend the legacy by adding yet another trophy to the cabinet, and of course asserting dominance over the arch rivals. The coach Jose Rivera has a chance to make history with, of course, a potential third consecutive Nedbank Cup title after leading his team to triumph in 2023 and 2024 respectively. If Jose Rivera is said to succeed, it will be an unparalleled achievement, as no coach has yet ever lifted a trophy 3 times in a row, and Pirates of course will come into this final with an impressive record. It also marks the seventh appearance in the Nedbank Cup final since 2008, and a record surpassing that of course other competitors such as Mamelodi Sundowns have yet to match. Of course, Sundowns currently sit down with 6. The Buccaneers, of course, have claimed that the trophy 4 times, while Kaizer Chiefs will contest for the third final during this period. And of course, having won the lost cup in 2013, the historic Moses Mabida Stadium will host the final for the 5th time, a venue that has seen a share of epic clashes, and there will be none other of an epic clash than the Soweto rivals. It's going to be a humdinger of an encounter tomorrow at the Moses Mabida Stadium. Tickets for that encounter have now been confirmed, sold out for that affair. Continuing with football, of course, Tottenham remain on course to end the 17-year trophy drought to win yet silverware in the leadership of Ange Postecoglou's second season of the 2-0 victory over Bordeaux Glimt, which of course sent them through to the Europa League final. It will only be the second European final that Spurs have contested in the last 40 years. And despite a woeful Premier League season, where of course the team are currently languishing at the 16th position, Ange Postecoglou can still stay true to his vow of always winning a trophy in his second season. Of course, they will not be competing against themselves. They'll be competing against our English rivals in Manchester United for the much coveted Europa League trophy. On the other side, as far as UEFA is concerned, also UEFA Champions, the UEFA Conference League will also be contested by Real Betis for the first ever time in the club history. They'll of course be competing against our Italian-based side Fiorentina, and then of course just to confirm others as far as the UEFA Champions League final is concerned, which takes place on the 24th of May, will be contested between Paris Saint-Germain of Paris and of course Italian giants Inter Milano. That encounter takes place at the Allianz Arena out in Berlin, Germany. And just like that, that's where I'm going to leave my story for this morning. As per usual, back between 9 and 11 a.m. on Monday morning. Until then, it's enough said.